Hello, good morning, and welcome to Unacademy IAS, a one stop destination for all the English medium civil services aspirants. This is Shyam Kaggod here, taking up the Hindu news analysis dated 21st June 2025. Before I start the discussion, please do let me know that I'm audible and visible for all of you. Please give me the confirmation in the chat section that I'm audible and visible for all of you. Done. Thanks a lot. So in today's session, I'll be taking up total of 8 articles plus one a surprise article. Don't worry, I'll tell you when I take it up. These articles, a lot of them are from the Delhi edition of Hindu newspaper. Some of them are from Financial Express and one from Indian Express. This has been done in order to ensure that the discussion will be comprehensive, but more importantly, all of your current affairs requirements are addressed so that you can ace not only the prelims examination but also the mains examination. So if you like this initiative, do not forget to hit the like button, and if you are yet to join our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. Let's start. Before I take up the first article, if you want to download the PPT, that is in the PDF version, please join my Telegram channel. After the session is over, I will ensure that this PPT will be uploaded in my Telegram channel. And I know a lot of you are preparing for the Civil Services 26 and 27. Our courses are available at a price of 22,999. Once you enroll into the course, you will get access to the live or recorded classes of Hindi medium, English medium, as well as English medium. You will get access to the study material. You'll also get access to a mentorship program, prelims, as well as mains test series. And if you use the code IAS English, you'll also get an extension of up to 6 months free of cost. Those who are interested, do check out the details by clicking on the link provided in the description below. Now, let me start the discussion. First article, I've taken one editorial from Financial Express and second, as usual, from Hindu newspaper editorial page. If you see today's Hindu newspaper, in the editorial page, there is one article with the headline Lighting the Spark in UK India Cultural Relations. It is speaking about the creators economy or creative economy, also referred as orange economy now. Now, while I was going through the other newspaper, there was one more article in the Financial Express which caught my attention, which discusses certain different aspects associated with orange economy, the concerns associated with over dependence and over promotion of orange economy. So let me club the discussion of both of these articles. Let's have a detailed discussion. And before I go forward, I know earlier May 2nd, Chetan sir has had a very short discussion on the Waves Summit. Please don't tell me that Chetan sir has already discussed. I know that. But that was essentially what was there in the article. And today, let's have a detailed discussion on it. Now, please understand, in recent times, the government of India is promoting the concept of orange economy or creators economy. What do you mean by orange economy or creators economy? This is the definition. Please make a note of this. And when I say note, make a mental note. The PPT anyways will be available to you. The orange economy or creative economy refers to various industries, which includes the individual creativity, the skills, talent, etc. And the industries that I'm referring to here would be associated with music, films, design, fashion, publishing, arts, that includes the theater as well, advertising, as well as the software development. This is essentially the definition of orange economy. Now, in the context of India, why is the government of India focusing on it? Why is the government of India promoting it? Let me take you back to December 2024. In one of the editions of Man Ki Baat, the Prime Minister highlighted the importance of promoting creators' economy in India. The importance of promoting creators' economy. And the reason behind this, which is again same in any of the context of the discussion, it leads to right basically tapping the skills of the individuals. We will be able to tap the skills, the talent of the individuals, be it from urban India or be it from rural India. Generally, what happens in the context of, let's say, a developing country such as India, those who are those who are born, brought up, let's say in urban part, that is in the cities, are easily able to get access to better opportunities, are easily able to get access to more amount of, let's say, better paying jobs, etc. So overall, what we have seen is the growth as well as the development in terms of earnings, quality of life, right, or for that matter, let's say the income, wealth, etc. It is always better in terms of, let's say, urban population compared to rural population. Now, when you talk about harnessing the skills, harnessing the talent of the individuals, that is part of the creators economy. We will be able to provide the same platform even to the population or to the youth who are coming from the rural part of India. That is one. Second, it will promote employment opportunities. Not only for the people who are, let's say, I'll take a very simple example. Let's say making YouTube videos. Lot of influencers are there on Instagram. They are also present on the YouTube and many other platforms as well. So no doubt they will be they will be able to harness their talent, generate certain amount of income. At the same point of time, these people will also have a team. There will be a lot of people who will be supporting these kind of production of the videos, etc. So that kind of jobs will also be generated. Employment will also be generated. All of this over a period of time will contribute to GDP as well, gross domestic product. According to one estimates, in case of India, in the context of India, this particular economy is important to the tune of around $30 billion. Around $30 billion. Some estimates will peg it at around 35, some estimates around 28 billion. But don't worry, around $30 billion worth of creators economy is present in India. And within this creators economy, if you talk about, let's say, influencers, be it, let's say, influencers of fashion, influencers of financial products, influencers associated with other technological products, etc., that market is also very fast expanding in India. And the importance of that expanding market is that the influencers, when they will publish certain material on the social media platforms, people are influenced by that information, be it audio, video, or let's say a text format. People are influenced, and there is a influenced based consumption. Remember this. There is influenced based consumption. And I know some of you might be thinking, sir, how much will be this amount? It will be a very small amount. No. According to Ernst and Young, the influenced based consumption in India is estimated to be around $350 billion worth. Is everybody able to understand? The influenced based consumption is estimated to be around $350 billion worth. That is, many of the times you must have seen somebody will upload a video comparing bikes. People are influenced. A lot of bike enthusiasts are influenced by that. Many of the times people will upload videos comparing mobile phones. Which mobile phone is better? Or which laptop is better? Which is, right, let's say the best fashion brand? Which is the best perfume? Which is the best, right, let's say food commodity in the market, etc. etc. So there is a huge demand as well, I'm sorry, huge growth in this particular segment of creators economy in the context of India. So everybody is able to understand the importance. But let's go beyond these three factors. There is also a component of soft power associated with this. There is a component of soft power associated with this. That is India's culture, India's goods, India's music, Indian movies, etc., are being followed in other parts of the world. For example, not just now, but historically, if you see, there was a huge influence of Indian movies in other countries such as Russia, or for that matter, let's say South Korea or Japan for that matter. There is a huge cult following for certain types of Indian movies. So it will also basically promote the soft power in terms of promoting all of these, right, in the global market. So these are certain important points. So after the Man Ki Baat speech, or let's say One Ki Baat address, come to May. May 2025, this year. Before the Waves Summit was supposed to happen, Waves Summit happened in the beginning of the sorry in the month of May. Before the Waves Summit was scheduled, the government of India announced that they would be setting up a $1 billion fund to promote creators economy. The government announced that they would be setting up $1 billion fund for promotion of creators economy. And in addition to this, the government also has announced around 390 crore rupees, around 390 crore rupees for promotion of institution of creative technology, institution of Indian creative technology. Is it okay? All of you able to follow the discussion here? So, in addition to, right, let's say the Wave Summit, the government is also taking certain measures to promote creators' economy in India. So, these are the arguments which have been put forward by government of India. But what is the issue here? What is the problem? If you promote creators' economy, which is labeled as orange economy now, please remember. And some of you might be thinking, sir, why the color orange? What is the connection to this color orange? The orange color is generally associated with creativity. I'll repeat the statement. The color orange is generally associated with creativity. That's the reason the Prime Minister has been using this particular term, orange economy, and the need to promote orange economy in India. Now, what is the right, let's say, concern associated with all of this promotion? The concern is very simple, which are discussed in this article. So far, we have understood what are the positive aspects. Let's try and understand what are the negative aspects as well, so that you have all-round understanding of the concept of orange economy. The writer here, that is Mr. Srinath Sridharan, raises certain pertinent issues associated with the orange economy. What are the pertinent issues? Point number one, in case of India, traditionally, I don't know how many of you have seen, but when I was there in the college, I used to come across this kind of a question. Do you want to become a doctor or do you want to become an engineer? I know in lot of your households, that is the same question being asked for others also. Do you want to become a doctor or do you want to become an engineer? Traditionally, in case of India, that was the argument. That is, once you finish the college, get into, right, let's say certain courses which will provide you certain skill sets, or you will get a graduation degree, you can get a job and settle down in your life. That was the argument. That was basically the concept of educating children, or even today it is a concept of educating children in India. The concern that has been raised by the writer here, that when this promotion of creators economy is being done, that is the concept of influencers are being promoted in India, lot of people are giving more importance to that rather than getting education. Is my point clear? Now there is a shift in the ideologies of the, right, in the minds of the students. They are simply thinking that what is the point of learning so much? I have skill sets, I have certain, right, talent. I will use the talent, I will use the skill set to showcase it. Let's say in the YouTube, I'm a dancer, I'll become very famous, I'll go viral. I'm a painter, I'll go viral. I'm a comedian, right? I'll make certain jokes, I'll put the videos on the YouTube, I'll go viral. I don't have to get education. I can earn money, I can become famous through these kind of creatives, or let's say through these kind of let's say approach. But the concern the writer simply says is it may not work out for everyone. It may not work out for everyone. Just like, let's say, Bollywood. In Bollywood, every year, thousands of people go to Mumbai to become stars with the hopes of becoming a star one day. But does everyone end up becoming a star? No, hardly 1% of an outsider will get the chance, will shine, will settle down in the Bollywood, make big in the Bollywood. But what about all the other people who migrated from, who moved from the different parts of India in search of, right, let's say this particular dream? Same would end up happening in this particular situation as well. So one, there is a shift in the thinking now. Lot of people, rather than focusing on education, rather than getting, let's say, skill sets to become, let's say, a contributor to the economy in traditional sense, now they are moving away. That is point number one. Point number two, even if you are skilled, Even if you're talented, does it mean you'll go viral on YouTube? Does it mean, right, you will become viral sensation in the theater arts, etc.? The argument of the writer is you might be talented. You are putting out content one week after another week consistently on the YouTube. But tell me, how many of you have seen many people quitting YouTube because their videos are not picking up? They're not able to earn, but they are spending continuously to create and upload videos. Reason being, the writer simply says, you are good, nothing wrong with you. You are creating very good quality content. But what if the supplier of the technology, that is, let's say the YouTube India, changes its algorithm? It is essentially changing its algorithm. And once it changes its algorithm, when people are opening the YouTube, your videos may not be pushed. Or even if they search, your videos would be suppressed very downwards and nobody will watch it. So, in that particular context, yes, you are skilled. Yes, you are talented. You are uploading videos, but there are no views, as a result of which people might be dismayed from this side of a, or from this kind of a activity. That is the second issue. Third issue is the companies which are offering this, any company, be it OTT platforms, be it YouTube, be it Instagram, they are worried about their own interest. They're not doing this for a charity. They're worried about only their interest. And what is their interest? Their interest is profitability. Their interest is profitability. And in such cases, in order to, let's say, cater to the government interest, or in order to follow the government orders, in order to, right, basically send a message to the global community that they are not part of this side, left, right, etc., they might introduce a policies which will have a negative impact on your, let's say, performance on these particular platforms. Done? Everybody is okay? So these are some of the issues or concerns which have been raised by the writer in basically countering the argument that next model will be the creators economy. This will be one area that will drive the growth of Indian economy, etc., etc. So you have both the arguments now in favor of creators economy as well as, right, against the model of creators economy. Now, what is this article which is given in the Hindu newspaper? What is this article talking about? Again, the concept of creators economy. In this article, certain important points are given. I'll just focus on those points. In the month of May, or in the last couple of months, certain important events have happened between government of India as well as government of UK. The first one is the free trade agreement has been signed between both the countries. Right? The governments have signed a free trade agreement, and that was required. That is needed. Okay, that is point number one. Point number two, there is also one more. Right? Have a look at this arrangement that has been arrived at, or agreement that has been signed by both the parties of the government. That is representatives of Ministry of Culture, and that agreement is referred to as a program of cultural cooperation, POCC. Please make a note of this. Program of cultural cooperation. The program of cultural cooperation essentially has been signed between both the countries, and this is going to work, or this is going to have five important areas. These are the five very important areas. But essentially, what it will lead to? It will lead to cultural exchanges between India and UK. Cultural exchanges between India as well as UK in areas such as digital technologies, exhibitions and collection, performance and events, cultural property, and sustainability. And the importance of this agreement is, listen to me carefully. There will be a creators corridor that will get established. Corridor means exchange in simple terms. Creators corridor that will be established between India and UK now. In terms of what? You need to create videos. You need to have certain kind of a technology, etc. What if the experts that you require for creation of these kind of videos are present in UK? Right? You can get access to that kind of a, right, let's say, skill sets now. And not just this, there is a growing area, that is virtual reality area. Lot of investment is being done in this particular area to develop better technologies. And this kind of investment is already present in UK. Many companies are there. Even in India, many companies are arising or having a huge amount of investment in developing virtual reality, augmented reality, etc. So when you have this kind of a agreement or arrangement between two countries, the movement of technologies, movement of labor, etc., will become much easier. So that is essentially the gist of the article provided here. And so I've discussed right the important aspects here. Please make a note of all of it. Now try out answer writing. Descriptive question number 78. The orange economy presents an opportunity for inclusive economic growth, job creation, and cultural diplomacy. However, it also raises concerns related to digital exploitation and sustainability. Elaborate this particular statement in 250 words in 15 marks. Okay, now let me go forward. Next article, quantum challenge. What is the importance of this article? Two very important aspects, science and technology paper. Please remember this. Two very important aspects are being discussed in the article. One, very recently an experiment was conducted in a joint venture between DRDO and IIT Delhi. What was the importance of this experiment? Let's say there are 2 points. Between these particular 2 points, there is a message that is transmitted, right? Especially, let's say, in case of defense installations, there is always a concern that what if somebody is able to get access to this particular message, right? And once you get access to this particular message, decoding of this message is not difficult now, especially with the types of supercomputers that many of the countries have. Getting the access, getting their hands on the message, and then basically decrypting the message, which is of national security importance, not becoming very difficult nowadays. So, what is the solution to this? The government of India back in their 2023 had launched an initiative by the name of National Quantum Mission. Remember the name of this, National Quantum Mission 2023. What is the importance of the National Quantum Mission? There are four areas under this particular National Quantum Mission. One is quantum computing, second one is quantum communication, and this is where, right, the recent experiment plays a very important, right, let's say, update. Third one is quantum sensing and metrology, and the fourth one is quantum materials and devices. Right, so these are the four very, very important aspects or the pillars of National Quantum Mission. Now, under this, if you see, there is the second pillar here, second part of the quantum mission, quantum communications. Quantum communications. Now, what is the importance of this experiment? Why it has created such a new or let's say huge buzz? In this experiment, from one point to another point, there has been, right, let's say encrypted message. There has been, right, an encrypted message which has been sent from one point to another point without using any kind of fibers. Is my statement clear to you? Without using any kind of fiber, because generally whenever you use technologies, there are fibers connected, that is wiring, and through the wires we send a lot of information. Now, I hope you understand this. There is this kind of a experiment which has been successfully conducted, where using the quantum technology, encrypted data has been transmitted at a distance of 1.2 kilometers. And this is important because I told you, one, this is going to essentially revolutionize how the messaging will be transmitted now. And the benefit of using this kind of a encrypted data where you are sending messages is that the experts say, when anybody tries to intervene in this message, or if you are sending a message through, right, let's say a light like this, you are sending a message. If somebody will try to catch this particular message, at both the ends of this message, the people will realize that somebody is trying to get into the information that you are trying to send to each. So that is the importance of this kind of an experiment. This is point number one. Then point number two, what is the issue? What is the issue? They have discussed the experiment which has been conducted. Second aspect they have discussed is, what is the issue in regards to the National Quantum Mission here? Listen to me carefully. I said the government of India in 2023 launched the National Quantum Mission. This is supposed to be implemented for a duration of 8 years. 8 years. That is, right, starting from 23-24 till 2030-31. It is supposed to be implemented. And under this particular mission, more than 6,000 crore rupees. I'm just rounding off the number. Exact number is 6,003 crore rupees. So more than 6,000 crore rupees funding has been allocated. But many of the scientists have already raised the concern stating that although the funds are allocated, the funds are there under the quantum mission, but there are a lot of problems that we are facing. What are the problems? Point number one, how much is the fund which has been allocated? If you compare it to other countries, such as let's say USA or for that matter China, the amount of funds which have been allocated for development of these kind of quantum technologies is 5 times more compared to what we have allocated. 10 times more compared to what we have allocated, etc. That is point number one. Point number two, the funds are allocated, but the disbursal means issue of these particular funds, release of these particular funds is very, very slow. That is the second point. Third point, for developing lot of these quantum technologies, for conducting research, etc., you need technology, you need equipments. Lot of these equipments are not manufactured in India. And if I want to import, now I will have to get the approval from the government because these are very sensitive technologies. Because I need approval from the government, I need permission from the government. Essentially, this will delay the whole process of conducting research as well as the development. So, these are some of the issues or concerns which have been raised against the idea of a national quantum mission, which have been provided in the article. So done, everybody is okay. Two aspects. One is the recent, right, let's say experiment which has been conducted, which is revolutionary. And the second one is certain problems associated with National Quantum Mission. Now, based on this, I've given an MCQ. Solve this. If you are able to solve it quickly. Consider the following statements regarding National Quantum Mission, NQM. It is being implemented for a period of 5 years. Second one is it aims to develop intermediate scale quantum computers with 52,000 qubits. Very technical statement. I'll come to this. Third one of the objectives is to implement quantum secured communication spanning 2,000 kilometers. Statement 1. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. It is more than 5 years. It aims to develop intermediate scale quantum computers with 52,000 qubits. Listen to me carefully. Whenever you talk about computers, generally you must have heard of bits, right? You must have heard of bits. But when you talk about quantum computers, right? When you talk about quantum computers, instead of just bits, they will use the term qubits. Is it okay? Please do let me know. Instead of just the term bits, they will use the term qubits. Done. Now, what is this qubit number? What does it represent? Whenever you purchase a computer, you will talk about the processing speed of the computer. What is the pace, fastness of the computer, etc. So this term qubit also talks about essentially, right, the importance, the processing speed, what is the right computation methodology of this, etc., etc. So in the context of a national quantum mission, please remember this, right? The argument is by end of 8 years, that is the time period I told you, by the end of 8 years, you want to have, right, essentially 52,000 physical qubits capacity of the computers. Okay. So the second statement is correct. One of the objectives is to implement quantum secured communication spanning 2,000 kilometers. That is, let's say, between cities. Have a look at one more objectives of the mission here. Intercity quantum key distribution. Quantum key distribution is essentially whatever experiment I explained it to you. There is a term called as quantum entanglement, etc., which is used in all of it. Right? So quantum key distribution essentially is you are transmitting message from one point to another point in a in a encrypted way. Encrypted way means which is converted into another form, you need to decrypt it, use a password to change it to, or basically convert into a form which is readable, understandable to you. Right? So intercity key distribution. In this, the target area is 2000 kilometers. And if you're wondering, sir, what is the importance of all of this? My dear, defense sector, cyber security, think of it. Defense sector, cyber security, etc. It will have lot of important applications in all of these areas. Everybody is okay? So 2 and 3 are correct. Right option for the question will be option B. Only 2 is correct. Or 2 of the statements are correct. Now let me go forward. UK lawmakers approve a bill for assisted dying. Now please understand this very carefully. Can be asked in paper 2, can be asked in ethics paper, etc. Listen to me carefully. The House of Commons, just like India, right? Just like India, there are two houses. In UK, there are two houses. The House of Commons, directly elected, and the House of Lords. So, House of Commons, right, very recently has approved a bill which is titled as the Terminally Ill Adults End of Life Bill. Terminally Ill Adults End of Life Bill, or else a simple way, the Assisted Dying Bill. Now, what is this concept of assisted dying? Let me take an example based on what measures have been proposed in the bill. Imagine there is a particular person who has been diagnosed with a particular disease, and this person has, let's say, final 6 months to live. Final 6 months to live. Now, this person, under this law, will be given the right to choose when to end their life. Is my statement clear to you? Euthanasia is different. I'll come to that. In this particular bill, imagine a person, adult by the way, is diagnosed with a particular disease which is not curable, and they have less than 6 months to live. Such cases, they can decide when they want to die. That is basically the assisted dying bill here. Is it okay? Everybody is able to understand? And it is not euthanasia. Euthanasia is different. In euthanasia, active or passive, right? Essentially, the doctors, right, based on certain process, will take a call. The family members, etc., doctors, there is a particular process in India. So it is not euthanasia. It is basically committing suicide, but with assistance. That is assisted dying. Now, in case of UK, this is not the first time that there is a discussion associated with assisted dying. And this is also not the first country to have a law regarding assisted dying. For example, such a law is already there in Australia. There is such a law in Canada as well. And many of the states in United States, many of the states within USA also have a law, right, basically covering the concept of assisted dying. Now, what are the provisions under this particular bill? And what is the connection to India? Is there any such law in India? Let's understand, that's more than sufficient. The provisions of the bill basically say if an adult who has less than 6 months to live now essentially can take a decision to end their life with assistance. And right, already many cases of such incidences have taken place in Britain. For example, have a look at this. 37 Britons had traveled to Dignitas to end their lives in 2024. Such cases have already been happening. People are deciding to end their lives because they are terminally ill. There is no scope of recovery. They want to choose when they want to die, how they want to die. Right? But please understand, when this was right discussed earlier in the month of December, also it was discussed. There was more support to this particular bill. There was a larger support for this kind of a bill which was introduced in House of Commons. Now there is a lesser amount of support compared to what was the support earlier. The reason being, many experts have pointed out, it seems that some of the provisions under the bill have been watered down. They have been relaxed to a very great extent. And that's the reason now compared to earlier version, more people are opposing, but not in majority. Within the House of Commons, it is not in majority. Majority, that is 314 people have voted, MPs have voted in favor of the bill. Now, what is the watered down version here? What is a pain point? In the earlier version, if a person wanted to basically go for assisted dying, They were supposed to get a court order. They were supposed to get a court order. In this version of the bill, there is no court order requirement. Rather, there will be a panel which will be set up, which will take a call whether to allow them to go for assisted dying or not. A panel will be set up. And in this panel, many other parties are there, right? For example, social worker is there, psychiatrist is there. But the argument is, what was the need to water down the version? Earlier, court had the power to intervene. There was a court presence. Now you do not have a court presence. So that is the reason earlier when it was introduced, it had a higher majority. Even now, majority is there, but the majority has actually come down. That is point number one. Point number two, the proponents of this particular bill, the people who support this particular bill argue that this will give the people the right to decide when they want to die, how they want to die. Instead of suffering for a very longer duration, let them take a call. That is more human way. But at the same point of time, the critics of the bill also say this can actually lead to certain people being forced into committing this kind of an act. That is, again, just a hypothetical example. Imagine there is a family of 6 people. One of the person is terminally ill. Now, that particular person might be forced by the family through their behavior, through their talk, etc. They might be forced by the family to opt for this. Even though they are not interested, but keeping in mind the family's interest, they might do this. Or certain people might simply think, I have become a burden on my family, higher expenditure on my family, which is already struggling, etc. Considering those particular factors, people might prefer to go for assisted dying. All these are the gray areas. All these are the concerns associated with this kind of a bill. And okay, so this is one aspect. What is the status in India? Is assisted dying allowed in India? No, it is illegal. It is illegal. Okay. Second, euthanasia. There are two types of euthanasia, passive and active euthanasia. Is active euthanasia allowed in India? No, it is illegal. Passive euthanasia allowed, but very strict measures are there. Very strict measures are there in terms of conducting passive euthanasia. Done? Okay, so these are certain very important points. Please make a note of it. Next one, Israel Iran conflict update here. The chief of International Atomic Energy Agency has warned of nuclear disaster. Nuclear disaster. What is the context of this? For the last 1 week, there is the conflict that has happened in this particular region. Israel is continuously conducting operations, Iran is retaliating, etc. etc. So the issue here is multiple nuclear installations, multiple areas, multiple military bases, etc. have been targeted. More than 20 people have died because of this in Israel. More than 600 people have died because of these attacks in Iran. The numbers are just increasing day by day. But the chief of International Atomic Energy Agency simply says, if these attacks continue, one, there might be a direct attack on the first civilian nuclear facility in Iran, that is Bushehr. Please make a note of this. There is a civilian nuclear facility in Iran, Bushehr, which is present in the southern part of Iran. There are other nuclear facilities also. For example, there is one which is right famous or infamous, right? That is Nantaz. Right? There is Amarak also. Right? There is Karaj, etc. There is one more Fordo also. I hope you understand this. If the attacks continue to happen, there is a possibility that you might hit this particular nuclear facility. And if you hit this nuclear facility, what is going to happen is he warns of a nuclear disaster. He says there might be a nuclear meltdown. A nuclear meltdown. Right? There would be a disaster. And please make a note of the map as well. If there is a nuclear disaster which will happen in Bushehr like this, if the attack is happening there, essentially what will happen? The other countries which are present in this region, about Iran, Iran will suffer because of it, because of this kind of a let's say attack. But what about the other countries which are present in the region? Now the population from that particular country will also be facing exposure. That is the reason the IAEA chair simply says, be careful about the nuclear disaster now. We are moving very, very close to the nuclear disaster, but be careful. And there may not be direct attack. No worries, there may not be a direct attack on the nuclear facility. What if the lines which are supplying electricity? A lot of you are worried about something else in the chat section. Focus on the class. Focus on the class. If these kind of activities are done in the chat section, I will get the chat section closed in the live session then. So focus on the class. So listen to me carefully. If there is no direct attack on the nuclear facility, but what if the electric lines which are supplying electricity to the nuclear facility are disturbed, are attacked? If that happens, what is the impact? Electricity supply will not take place. And if electricity supply will not take place, again there is a danger of nuclear material going through a meltdown. That is essentially the nuclear material that is present keeps on, right, keeps on giving out lot of heat. And through the electricity, there will be a cooling process. If electric supply is cut, what will happen? Essentially, this will lead to a nuclear meltdown, which is also not preferable. So that's the reason the IAEA chief has warned of nuclear disaster if there is an attack on Iran facilities like this. Everybody is okay? Now, look at the MCQ number 140. Look at the number MCQ number 140. Consider the following statements regarding Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. NPT has been there in the discussion recent times. What is the context? Iran is considering Iran is considering to exit non-proliferation treaty. Now, is there any article in yesterday's newspaper which specifically talks about NPT? In today's Indian Express, there is an article. Please have a look at this. In today's Indian Express, there is a very nice article discussing about non-proliferation treaty. What is the important point out of this article? What are the important points? Point number one, the Non-Proliferation Treaty was signed in 1968, entered into force in 1970. Is it okay? Right? 1968 entered into force in 1970. Right? Is India party to NPT? No. Right? India is not a party to NPT. It is part of IAEA. In fact, remember this. Within IAEA, there is a 35 nation board of governors. India is a party to 35 nation board of governors. Right? India is part of it along with the permanent 5 countries. So have a look at this. Is India party to NPT? No. Is Iran a party to NPT? Yes. Is Israel a party to NPT? No. North Korea, is it a party or a member of NPT? Earlier, yes. Today, no. So 1968, it was signed. 1970, it has come into force. 191 countries have joined this particular treaty. 191 countries have joined this particular treaty. India is not a party because India believes essentially in universality. That is, India says, I also want to basically keep on testing my nuclear weapons as such. I want to keep on developing on nuclear research. Because once you sign under NPT or if you become a party to NPT, you're throwing open your facilities for inspection. You're basically right confirming to the idea of submission of documents and data to the authorities, etc. Okay, now come back to the question here. Somebody said, sir, it has been there in the discussion for many days. Yes, it has been there in the discussion. Specifically, this article was published in today's Indian Express. That's the reason I've given it to you. Once the country joins NPT, its withdrawal is not allowed and it can only be expelled by the members. Its withdrawal is not allowed. Statement is incorrect. Withdrawal is allowed. There is a section 10, right? Article 10, right? There is one article under this. Under that, you are allowed to withdraw from the NPT. You will have to give a notice. Iran is actually considering doing that now. Statement 2, 191 countries are members of this particular treaty. Yes. India is a member of IAEA but not of NPT? Yes. 2 and 3 are correct. Right option is option B. Only two statements are correct. Okay, now next, steel sector in a fix as government gives a less than day to meet quality control orders. QCO. What is the importance of this article? Listen to me carefully. The government of India is implementing various measures to promote the production as well as exports from the steel industry. Point number one. The government of India wants to promote production as well as promote exports as well. Now, in terms of promoting production, the government simply says, I want to ensure whatever is the quality of the material, whatever is the quality of the material, that is the output, is meeting certain standards. Is the statement clear to all of you? The output, that is the steel that is produced, should be of very good quality. And if the quality is good, automatically the export competitiveness will be better. But if you want to ensure that the steel that is produced is of good quality, you will have to ensure the raw material that is used to produce the steel should also be of very good quality. Input, if it is of better quality, automatically the output will also be of better quality. So, considering that viewpoint, what the government of India has done is it has announced a Quality Control Order, QCO, Quality Control Order. What is the importance of a quality control order? Please listen to me carefully. The concept of QCO is a type of a non-tariff measure, or a non-tariff barrier. Under QCO, which is essentially a directive, under this, if you are importing something, if you are importing something, let's say, right, raw material for steel production, or right, I'm importing toys, I'm importing chemicals, I'm importing, let's say, technical equipments, etc. These will have to meet a certain specific standards. Is it okay? These will have to meet a certain specific standards, technical guidelines they will have to meet. Now, the government of India simply says the raw material that you are importing, let's say, is coming from country A. The raw material that you're importing is coming from country A. This exporter will have to meet certain specific standards. That is, the quality of the material exported will have to meet specific standards. And who will decide the standards? The BIS. BIS in India. That is, right, have a look at this. The Bureau of Indian Standards. The Bureau of Indian Standards will decide what are the quality requirements. This was announced some time ago. But what is the new announcement in addition to this? What is the new announcement which has created a problem for the steel producers in India? The new announcement is, what if this company A, which is present in another country, is importing another raw material from another company B? Think of it. I'll repeat this again. Imagine this is happening in, right, let's say China. Just an example. Right? A company is present in China, B is present in, let's say, Vietnam. According to the latest QCO guidelines for steel imports, company A will have to meet the quality control orders, right, according to the government guidelines or government order. And not just company A. A is importing raw material from company B from another country. Even this, which is exporting the raw material to company A, has to meet the quality control order. It has to meet certain specific guidelines or specific standards as decided by the Bureau of Indian Standards. Is everybody able to understand the problem that will arise because of this kind of a quality control order now? The problem is very simple. You are not restricting this order to the exporter. You are going one step behind in the value chain. You're going one step behind in the value chain. That creates a lot of complexity. And not just complexity. If you ask this company A to provide the data, whether the company B is meeting all the standards or not, don't you think the compliance requirement will increase? Compliance requirement means they will have to get the test done. They will have to provide the documents for all of it. Paperwork will be very high, right? So compliance burden will increase. And when the compliance burden increases, the cost will also increase. The cost will also increase. And when the cost increases, the cost of raw material which is imported into India will also increase. And that will hamper the production of the steel in the domestic market. Everybody is okay with this argument here? So steel sector is in a fix as government gives less than a day to meet these particular standards. Can I move on now? Please do let me know. MCQ number 141. And those who are having doubts, wait, let me finish the article, then I'll come to your doubts. How many of the following are types of non-tariff barriers? How many are types of non-tariff barriers? Solve it very quickly. Quotas, quality control orders, carbon border adjustment mechanism, CBAM. How many of these are type of non-tariff barriers? And those who are new, non-tariff barrier means any kind of a restriction which is not in the form of a tax, which is not in the form of a import duty or export duty. It is called as a non-tariff barrier. Quotas, yes. Quotas essentially impose a restriction in terms of quantity. Quantity, right? Second, quality control order. What is a quality control order? I've told you just now. There will be certain standards or specifications that the imports will have to meet if you want to import it. That is a non-tariff barrier. Carbon border adjustment mechanism. It's a non-tariff barrier. I've discussed this earlier also. It is a non-tariff barrier. Okay, so all the three are correct. All the three are correct. Right option will be option C for the question here. All the three are correct. Option C is the right one. Okay, next, small articles now. The Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, very recently in a speech stated that he declined the invitation of Mr. Donald Trump. Now, what is the importance of this article? Let me give you the background to this. Very recently, the G7 summit was conducted in Canada. India participated as an observer country or invitee, special invitee in this G7 summit, along with many other countries. Now, during this particular summit, there is a phone conversation which has taken place between the Prime Minister of India as well as the President of USA. And that is important. Important, understand this. Right? That is important. Reason being, the Prime Minister is said to have categorically specified to the President of USA, stating that during Operation Sindoor, there was absolutely no talk of India USA trade. During Operation Sindoor, there was absolutely no talk of India USA trade. There was no talk of promoting or let's say allowing USA to mediate between right Pakistan and India. And whatever are the issues between India and Pakistan will be resolved bilaterally or between these two countries. The mediation from any other country will not be allowed. That was essentially the gist of the talks that have happened between the Prime Minister of India as well as the President of USA. Now, what is the importance of this article? What is the importance of these statements? Two things. One, the President of USA around 14 times, I hope you understand. Now, one more time, including that, 15 times. Around 15 times has given a statement saying that he mediated between India and Pakistan and stopped the conflict. That was the statement, right? He mediated, he put an end to the conflict between India and Pakistan, which was going out of hand, which has been categorically denied by government of India because understand this carefully. There is the concept of hyphenation and dehyphenation. Generally, USA historically has been clubbing both India and Pakistan together. Whenever they talk, they will club both of them together and talk. That is hyphenation. We are following now the concept of a dehyphenation. So India says we are not going to allow any third party to intervene between these two countries. Point number one. Point number two, when the Prime Minister was at G7 summit, there was one more thing that was happening at White House. Field Marshal, Pakistan's Field Marshal, Mr. Munir, was present in the White House. Becomes the first Field Marshal, by the way. Remember this. A chief or a Field Marshal in Pakistan, he's the first I hope you understand, Field Marshal of Pakistan, who has been invited, hosted by President of USA. President of USA, none other than President of USA. Generally, the presidents don't host the chiefs like this. Somebody else will host. A president do not host a chief, right? So that is one issue. Second, it looks like now USA is cozying up. It is basically right taking Pakistan into confidence. There will be right. There will be certain ulterior motive. There will be their own interest. What could be the interest there? One factor that could be right, the outcome of this particular meeting is USA might be asking Pakistan for assistance to basically conduct strikes in Iran. Because right now, listen to me carefully, Israel started the attacks thinking that USA will follow them, USA will support them, USA will also jump into this particular right attacks, because the bunkers which have been developed for development of the nuclear facilities, Israel doesn't have the facility or the arms to destroy that. They need the assistance of USA. But the president of USA has given a statement yesterday. Is still considering whether to participate or not. Right now, he is not going to participate. And moreover, there is a huge pressure in the domestic market for the president of USA, because they remember what has happened in Iraq. Right? They know what happened in Afghanistan. They know that they do not want one more participation of USA forces in one more war. Right? So that is that is basically what is happening in all of these cases. But many experts argue the hosting of the Field Marshal of Pakistan could be basically to promote the business activities of Trump family in Pakistan. Right? There are certain business interests of Trump family in Pakistan, directly as well as indirectly. That might be the primary motive why Trump is basically cozying up right to the Field Marshal of Pakistan. Because generally, I hope you understand this. It is the chief of army, or let's say the head of the army, which controls a lot of activities in Pakistan. Done? Okay. So these are certain important points. Please make a note of that. Last article for today, the trilateral discussion. Bangladesh, Pakistan, China to hold a trilateral discussion. Now, why this is important? Please look at the countries which are involved in the trilateral discussion. India is in the middle. One is China. Second one is Bangladesh, and the third one is Pakistan. So obviously, it will be a cause of concern for the government of India. Reason being, Pakistan, anyways, right? We do not have good relations with them. China, hot and cold, sometimes very good, sometimes very bad. But Bangladesh historically has been very good neighbor, very good, right? Let's say trade partners for us. Lot of assistance has been provided in the past decades also. But now, right, with the interim government in Bangladesh, they are also right venturing more and more towards the influence of China. If China will host these two countries, hold, let's say, trilateral negotiations, automatically India will be worried about the growing influence of China in both of these particular countries. Not to forget the kind of economic investment, the road initiative, the Belt and Road Initiative projects that can be proposed, promoted, or developed in these particular countries. So, in that particular context, you will have to look at this trilateral meeting between Bangladesh, Pakistan, and China. Done? So, these are certain important articles as well as the concepts related to the articles that I wanted to discuss with you. Now, if you have any questions, do let me know. I'll address all of your questions. Do let me know. Declutter with Azhar. But, sir, it seemed more of a political statement. My dear, don't worry about the politics of it. Do not worry about the politics of it. Focus on the international relations part of it. Okay. Any question? Many people are asking me questions earlier. Now is the time to ask question. What is hyphenation and dehyphenation? My dear, hyphenation means USA, whenever they talk about, right, let's say India, they will club the discussion with India and Pakistan. They will mention India, Pakistan. Right? That is basically the idea of a hyphenation. But we argue that India is a different country, Pakistan is a different country. Don't club me with Pakistan in terms of their policy making, in terms of their assistance, in terms of how they view, right? Let's say relations with us. Both of us are different. That is a dehyphenation that is being done until now. From recent times, it has been done by the government of USA. Okay, QCO repeat. QCO essentially, listen to me very carefully. QCO quality control order simply means it is a directive that imports which are coming will have to meet certain standards or guidelines. Who will decide the standards? BIS. Now, what government of India has done is, let's say there is a company A in India. It is importing certain steel raw material from China. Okay, it is importing steel raw material from China at company B. Quality control order, have a look at this. B, whenever they export, they will have to submit documents saying that their raw material which they are sending, it is meeting the specifications or standards as decided by BIS. Now, what the government of India says is, if the company B is getting raw material, let's say from another company C, C will supply to B raw material, B will supply the raw material to A. If C is providing the raw material to B, now the company C also has to submit the documents showing that they are meeting whatever raw material they are supplying to B, that raw material is meeting the BIS guidelines, BIS standards. Right? So this will create a lot of complexity in the system. It will increase the time period that you will take for importing. It will increase the cost of import because documentation, etc., increases. Okay, done. In fact, the companies are arguing this guideline was announced on Friday, and the government said from Monday you will have to implement it. Announcement on Friday, from Monday it has to be implemented. They are arguing, how can I do that? I can't do it within one day. It cannot be done. Even if you give me 1 month, it is not possible. You have given me one day. Okay. I wrote an answer. My dear, post it. Somebody else will evaluate. Somebody else will give you feedback in the right, let's say, comment section itself. Sir, the CA you are dealing every day enough to crack UPSC. My dear, be constant. Read the newspapers every day. I'm giving you the articles, and when I say read the same articles, right, go through them. Use the PPT. Why not? Okay. Why USA is fearing the involvement in Iran due to which trauma, sir? I think you said involvement in Afghan. Please explain. My dear, earlier when Saddam Hussein, when there was a regime of Mr. Saddam Hussein in Iraq, right, UK, NATO allies, right, basically participated in basically decimating the regime of Mr. Saddam Hussein. So the resources of USA, lot of them were used there, but for very long time period they had to suffer. They had to face certain criticism because of that, etc. And many USA soldiers died in that particular war. So that is the reason the members of Republican Party in USA itself, they are against any kind of, let's say, participation of USA forces in any other war now. Right? Initially, that was a stand. Both are fighting. Let them fight. We will not participate. That is the reason. Okay. Chirag, sir, don't you think continuous lowering of lending rates may lead to rupee depreciation? My dear, rupee depreciation is an outcome of multiple factors, not just the interest rate. There are multiple other factors which will contribute to that. What is the difference between euthanasia and assisted dying? My dear, in case of euthanasia, the person is bedridden, right? Extremely in an particular situation which is bedridden, vegetative state, passive euthanasia, right? In that particular case, we take a call. Right? There is a particular process. We take a call. What should be done? In assisted dying, the patient himself or herself is taking a call. Okay, okay, done then. That's it from my side. Take care. See you next time whenever the session is scheduled, right, for Hindu News Analysis for me. If you like this initiative, do not forget to hit the like button. If you're yet to join our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. And after the session is over, the PPT's PDF will be uploaded in my Telegram channel. Download it. Thank you. Have a great day.